Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Kelly Jewett Fernandez. I have some other colleagues on the call that will introduce themselves momentarily. But before we do, I'd like to just kind of take care of a couple little housekeeping things. As you know, today we are doing a virtual sponsor and exhibitor orientation. It's an opportunity for us to give you a little more information about what to expect at the conference, highlight a few key sessions. We are really pleased to have representatives from our Corporate Advisory Council, as well as our decorators, who many of you have worked with, to answer any specific questions as well. But I would please like to ask you to utilize the chat feature at this time to ask any questions that you might have. We will be monitoring it throughout the next hour or beyond if we stay on longer. And then we will have a time for questions and answer concluding, as we get close to the end of our time together today. So again, any questions that you might have, you're welcome to put those in the chat or hold them until the Q&A section of the sponsor orientation today. As a reminder, we are recording this. We will be sending it out to individuals who are registered as the primary point of contact for their organizations. And I also kindly just ask you to keep your computer on, your audio on mute, just to limit the background noise that may come in on occasion. And so once again, thank you for being here today. Alicia, would you mind transitioning to the agenda? We're going to kick off today with some AISES team introductions and then provide you just a very brief overview of the organization and our current priorities around events and programs. And I think this is really important because we're really proud and honored to have a lot of new partners this year attending the national conference and really supporting the work that AISES does year round. We'll also have an update regarding some of the logistics for the conference, and our convention services of the Southwest team will be here as well. We'll provide you some upcoming deadlines and event reminders, and then even provide a short preview of what you can expect in terms of events in 2023. Again, my name is Kelly Jewett Fernandez. I am a citizen of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, and I serve as the Chief Development Officer at AISES. I have the privilege of being the staff liaison for our Corporate Advisory Council, as well as the privilege of working directly with many of you who are representing various corporate industries and supporting AISES in its work. Alicia?
My name is Alicia Mitchell. I am a citizen of the Cherokee Nation out of Tahlequah, Oklahoma. I'm the Senior Development Officer here at AISES, and I have the privilege of working with all of our federal government agencies. So I am the staff liaison for the Government Relations Council, and I also have recently taken on the roles and responsibilities of branching out into Canada. So that's who I am. I'll pass it on to you, Shayna.
Thanks, Alicia. Hi, my name is Shayna Gutierrez. I'm a citizen of the Oglala Lakota Nation from Pine Ridge, South Dakota, and I'm the Senior Tribal and Business Development Officer. And I work closely with Hope on sponsor servicing, and then I also am the staff liaison for our Tribal Nations Advisory Council, which is also known as TNAC, and then I get to work closely with our tribal partners. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Candace Mcdonough. I work as a Senior Development Officer also, and I work with corporate partners. Lots of you wonderful people, thank you. And I also work on Winds of Change, which is the communications channel for AISES. Hope.
Hi, everyone. You probably received lots of emails from me. I am Hope Archerbeck. It's so nice to see some faces and connect the faces with the names. I am the development manager here at AISES. I am from Greeley, Colorado, born and raised. I'm a Chicana, and I mostly work with our sponsors, servicing, and also supporting all of our partners throughout throughout each sector, which is the corporate, tribal, and government, helping out the team. So I'm here for anything, and thanks for joining today.
Thank you, Hope. Elise?
Hi, I'm Elise Lazier. I'm Meskwaki Chippewa from the Midwest. I'm the Senior IT Officer, and I'm the primary contact for the Careers and Opportunities job boards, and I'm also the administrator for the resumes database.
Thank you. And Elise will be providing us a very brief kind of overview of the Career Hub today. So if any of you are experiencing any challenges or haven't yet explored the database, she'll be offering a short demo. Lawrence, would you please introduce yourself?
Lawrence So I am now citizen of the Navajo Nation. I co-chair the Corporate Advisory Council. I've been the chair or co-chair since about 2009 for AISES.
Thank you, Lawrence, and thanks for being here today. Marcel, are you on the line at the moment?
I'm right here. I am on the line. Thank you for introducing me. I'm Marcel Lucero. I'm with CSS Event Contractor. We used to be Convention Services of the Southwest. And we still are, but we're just changing our identity a little bit. But we set up the college and career fair, and we also set up registration, and we do just about anything else that needs to be done that nobody else wants to do. So we will be primarily focusing on the college and career fair. So if any of you are involved in that and you have any questions, or you want to know something that you might want to know about it, feel free to call myself or my associate Lori, who knows a lot more than I do. So I always defer to Lori. So between the two of us, we can probably answer all your questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Marcel. And there will be another moment in just about 15 minutes where we'll just quickly go address the exhibitor service kit and have an opportunity to talk about shipping and receiving. And then we'll pause at that moment for some questions so that Marcel can perhaps exit this session following that segment, simply because I think he's calling us from another event today. And so Marcel and his team have been wonderful partners of AISES for many, many years prior to any of us on our team being here. And so thank you for joining us today and all of your hard work. Yes, I don't know if we actually put in a slide with our contact info, but there is information a little bit later to at least in contact information for Marcel, as well as Hope for any other questions that you have, and she can definitely connect you with anybody else on the team. And so at that point, I'm going to pause. We're concluded with the introductions and continue with the session.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. So as we get started today, I'm going to provide a brief update on AISES. So of course, we always want to share with our partners, and I know we have a lot of new partners on the phone and attending this year, so we're just going to give a brief update on this. So the AISES mission is the American Indian Science and Engineering Society is a national nonprofit organization focused on substantially increasing the representation of Indigenous peoples of North America and the Pacific Islands in science, technology, engineering, and math. So all STEM studies and careers. Oops, a little fast on that, wasn't I? So AISES does have 3 focus areas and 3 strategies that we use. So we do student success, career support, and workforce development. So you'll see on the slide to the right, that covers our students, parents, educators. And actually, we need to update this because we do work with pre-K through 12 college and graduates. So that's super exciting for us since we really have taken it back down to pre-K and captured all areas. We then work with professionals, future, early, mid, late, and retirees. The PK through 12 schools, colleges, universities, corporations, government agencies, tribal nations, private foundations, and nonprofits. So AISES is a very unique organization, as we've heard from some of our partners, because we have really branched out and have captured all ages from pre-Ks to typically elders. So it's a great place to be. Let's see. So AISES by the numbers, since we are a membership organization, we have reached 6,265 individual members. We do have 16 professional chapters, 200 college and university chapters, 3 tribal chapters, 236 PK through 12 affiliated schools enrolling more than 55,000 Native students that we work with. And to date, AISES has awarded over 15 million in academic scholarships. So to highlight in this area, I just wanted to let you know, and it is from the support of our partners like you that really help us do this work and support the mission here at AISES. So this growth and the opportunity to give out 15 million in scholarships is substantial. And as you see for this year's national conference, it is our 45th anniversary year. So we have been around for quite some time, and there has been a huge impact on our tribal communities thanks to our partners. And after this, I'm going to turn it over to Shayna.
Thanks, Alicia. So just a couple of conference overviews. We are having the sponsor and exhibitor orientation today. And again, just a reminder, it is being recorded. It will be sent out to all of the main point of contacts that registered for the booths. And then we'll also have it on our national conference page. And so we will be kicking off the conference in Palm Springs on October 6th at 8:30 with our opening ceremony, followed by the State of AISES, which will be given by our CEO, Sarah Echohawk, and that will be at 11 a.m. We will have our different advisory council meetings. So we will have the Academic Institution Advisory Council meeting at 11, our Government Relations Council, also known as the GRC, at noon. We'll have the Corporate Advisory Council and the Tribal Nations Advisory Council at 1:30. They will be different meetings, but they are at the same time. And I'm going to hand it over to Hope. Thanks, Alicia.
Just going again off the overview, we have our networking suites, which some of our partners have sponsored. And this is a unique event this year because it's going to be out on the East Lawn. And so it will be outside, but there will be designated tables set into fours and food near the tables, so that it's going to be a great space for students and professionals to network and walk around and talk to you all and the sponsors. We have our Gemstone Reception, and so this is for sponsors only, and that will be happening October 6th at 7:30 p.m. And then the College and Career Fair, the big day for all exhibitors, is on October 7th, Friday, starting at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's not in here, but you can start setting up your booth on Thursday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that's the day before. We will have our closing talking circle on Saturday, October 8th at 3 p.m. and the closing banquet on Saturday at 6. And then after the banquet, we always finish it off with a traditional powwow ceremony. And this is the poster for that, and it is sponsored this year by AES. Sorry, guys, is this me continuing?
I can talk quickly about this slide if you'd like, Hope. As we did receive some feedback from some of our partners over the last year, and so we wanted to point out a few unique sessions that are going to be held on Saturday. And so if you're planning to participate in the entire conference, we encourage you to consider attending the session that's regarding establishing and supporting an Indigenous ERG or Employee Resource Group, or stop in to learn a little bit about working in the federal government, an insider perspective. Many of our federal agency partners are participating in that panel discussion. And lastly, we will have a session on Saturday that's focused on recruiting and retaining Indigenous students and professionals. And then I did put a link in the chat, but we also have the digital conference program available if you'd like to get a little bit more information about what all of the sessions will include, as well as learn about the presenters. I believe we have the bios on the website as well.
And here are some of the demographics from today. I pulled maybe like 30 minutes ago, but they are counting still. And we do see a high rise in number of students approaching these next couple weeks to the conference. We know sometimes students are procrastinators, but for our high school students and chaperones, we have 181 right now. For college students and advisors, we're at 722. For professionals, we're at 395, but I do want to jump down a little bit to the exhibitor sponsors, because those are also our professionals, but we have you register under that specific selection. Exhibitor sponsors 782. So thank you all for getting your registrations in so early this year and meeting those deadlines. We have 26 elders signed up or registered right now. And for our booths, I did put a little picture of our floor right here. We have a total of 209, with our red ones here are the corporate or nonprofit or tribal and booths, and there are 58. There are some booths that are double, so that I count them as one, but then our educational booths are the blue ones on the left-hand side, and those are 70, and the rest in green are our sponsors, which are about 103. I think that was off the top of my head. And the rest, the yellow ones, are interview booths.
Thank you, Hope. And I'm just going to jump in really quick before I turn this over to Marcel to make any comments regarding the College and Career Fair and answer any questions there. The ones that I'm seeing here in the chat is that we didn't further break down the level of student at this time. We typically provide that in the conference follow-up report, but if a lot of you will find it helpful, perhaps late next week, as we see registrations continue to grow, we can provide just a little bit better information regarding the level of students that will be attending the conference, and then some of the majors where a lot of the students are indicating that they are interested in and or pursuing. I will talk a little bit later that we do have, as a STEM organization, we do see a significant number of students that are in the engineering and computer science and environmental science and mathematics fields, but we also are continuing to see a growing number of students in non-STEM fields, and so pursuing business, accounting, finance, communications, and those fields. And so please be aware that you will have students approaching your booth or be interested in exploring internship or career opportunities that may be outside of the STEM fields as well. And so at that point, and again, we'll answer other questions along the way. At this time, if Marcel would like to give any further information about exhibitor move-in, out, shipping, receiving, and then we'll pause, and if anyone has specific questions for Marcel, we can address those at this time.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that introduction. As I said before, I'm responsible for setting up the College and Career Fair. And Lori, my associate, who is on today as well, is really responsible for taking care of everything for the exhibitors. I'm kind of an overall kind of a guy, but I can answer any questions. So the first thing you're going to do when you get there is you're going to find the registration area, and you're going to get all your registration materials. That's in the AISES hall. It's in the lobby of AISES, and directly behind the registration area is the College and Career Fair. And so once you get in there, I think this is the biggest show ever. Right, Shayna, Kelly, it's huge. It's about almost 2 football fields long. So you can kind of imagine how big the area is. Finding your booth should not be hard. We will have aisle markers to indicate which aisle. If you know your booth number, it's just going to be so helpful. If you don't know your booth number, we'll probably be able to help you with that. We'll find where you're supposed to go. We are going to have a service desk set up in the hall, and we will be a blue area because we are a blue kind of company. The shell colors are red and blue, which if you got a service kit, you will already know that. If you want to coordinate whatever colors you're doing in your booth, keep in mind everything's red and blue. We are responsible for getting everything to your booth that you think should be in your booth when you walk up to your booth. So if you shipped any materials, if you ordered any other ancillary items like tables, chairs, carpets, floral, anything, it should be in your booth when you get there. Ideally, that's the way it's going to work. So once you find your booth space and things are missing, feel free to come to the service desk, ask us any questions. We'll help you find things. We're also responsible for making sure that you have a very good experience. Okay, so that's really number one to us, is your experience while you're at this humongous trade show. And you may feel like you're maybe just a little person in that, but we'll make you feel really like you're a big person and you belong. And we have lots of candy at our service desk, so we'll make you feel a little better in case you're having a bad day. As I said, Lori is our exhibitor service rep, and she will be at our service desk all the time. Right, Lori? Are you on, Lori?
Yeah, I'm on. I mean,
okay.
I'll be there during exhibitor movement and show hours.
During the show. So the one thing that I do want to say too is that this is such a fast moving day. The College and Career Fair Day is just all of a sudden it's over. So it's a good idea for you to come focused and know what you want to accomplish. And so consequently, if when you get to your booth and things aren't there, just start taking care of those issues right away. And we'll be there to help, and we'll find everything for you. But that day goes so quickly, it's all of a sudden it's over, and then we have to move out, and then we have to get out of the building. And so then we have to coordinate shipping everything back that you all shipped in and putting everything away that you ordered and making sure that the building gets their hall back in pretty decent shape, because we're going to be moving into that the next day. So it's a very fast day. You need to just be aware that it might even overwhelm you a little bit. Just come prepared, and we'll be there to help in any way we can. And if anybody has any questions right now, I'd love to answer them, or Lori could answer them. Let me see what's on the chat.
Hi. Do you want me to, is it better if I put it in the chat?
You could feel free to ask right now.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Roberto Martinez with MIT Lincoln Lab. So I looked at the exhibitor, the link that was just shared, and I saw that the lab, we have booth 19 and 569. Is that because one of them is an interview booth, or why would that be? Okay.
Correct. The lower numbers, like 1 through 56, I want to say, are interview booths.
All right, perfect. So that was an easy question. Thank you.
Yeah, if your booth number has an I in front of it, then that's an interview booth.
I have a question. I'm Ken Harper from Genentech. And what are the dates that we need to ship stuff over to be received?
Lori, you want to take that one on?
And just as a preface, I'm sort of like new to this. So like I'm part of an employee group at Genentech, and we are responsible to send our stuff over, but we have a team from Genentech that will be on site to set up our booth. So I guess like, I'm assuming how this works is I send our stuff over, it gets received by you guys, and then placed and stored somewhere, and then you guys bring it to our booth the day of the conference or the day of the booth thing for setup, or the night before. And then our folks will come in and set that all up. And then do whatever stuff that's left in our booth. Do they, I also need to know whether they our folks, whether they need to get special passes just to set up or not.
I think whatever credentials you get whenever you register will get you into the into the career
well,
fair?
Well, this team, they're not part of our registration and they're not part of the booth presence. All they're doing is they're going to show up and set up the booth and leave.
Okay, so is that like an exhibitor appointed contractor type of situation?
Yeah, but they're internal. They're like Genentech staff that like just go up there to our exhibit places and take the materials that we send over and they set up the booth. Okay,
so to start out, well, Lori, do you want to take this?
Or maybe we should take this offline. I don't know if it's going to be helpful for other people.
You have everything right. You're going to ship your stuff. We're going to get it to your booth. We'll store your empties during the show if that needs to be done. After the show, we'll get your empties back to the booth and then we'll ship it out.
And is this an additional cost? Do we have to like is there an additional cost in addition to like our Onyx? Or
yes, there is a service charge. It's material handling, and that information is in the service kit.
Okay, got it.
But you had it all right. I mean, for not doing this before, you did pretty good at figuring out how the whole thing works.
Do you still want me to recap? I think you got most of it, Marcel.
Sorry, I know. Lori, can you fill in any gaps?
So on the page that you see on the screen, it has the 2 different shipping addresses with the receiving dates for either of that address. So you would ship early to the advanced warehouse, need to get there by Monday, October 3rd, and then we bring everything over from there, deliver it to booths. Alternately, if you can't make it there by the 3rd, starting on Wednesday the 5th, probably Tuesday the 4th, but let's say the 5th to be good, we can receive direct at show site, and there's the address for that shipment. So it really depends on your transit time on where you're going to ship. And then, as Marcel mentioned, there is a handling charge for that. That rate will be listed in the service kit, and that's whether you go direct or to the advanced warehouse. And then you also want to make sure that you schedule your carrier to pick up show site during exhibitor move out, or you can always elect to ship out via the show carrier.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last instruction.
So at the end of the show, if you're shipping anything back to yourself after the end, you want to schedule your carrier to pick up show site during exhibitor move out that Friday night from 4 to 8:30, or you get your carrier to show up, or you prefer, we will have a show carrier you can ship out with the show carrier.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be at the service desk too to help you with every step of the way.
Another question from the chat is, does CSS use UPS and FedEx or just one?
We don't turn anybody away. There's going to be a lot of UPS. There's going to be a lot of FedEx. Just make sure you call them to arrange a pickup. Make sure you know if you're shipping FedEx Express or ground or UPS freight, or Lori, you can describe a little bit more of that. But yes, we hope that being a Friday and an afternoon, a late afternoon, we sometimes experience some issues with FedEx and UPS actually showing up. But we think since we're in Southern California, where trade shows are quite abundant, we think that they will show up. So if your carrier is either FedEx or UPS, we feel pretty confident they're going to show up.
Thank you.
If not, Lori, do you want to explain what happens if they don't show up?
Any shipments that the designated carrier doesn't show up for, we will ship out via the show carrier. We'll reroute it, and then we'll just bill you for that shipment. So nothing gets left on the show floor. It'll all ship out.
Thank you. And then another question, can you order or purchase things on site, or when is the last day to order from the exhibitor service kit?
You can order up until move-in day. We did have a cutoff day where prices get a little more expensive. We incorporate that into our service kit, and we do that mostly so we can keep track of our inventory and how much stuff is going to go out. But you can order even on the show floor. Well, we won't turn anything down.
There is a question as well about if you were to arrive before 9 a.m. on Friday, October 7th to set up the exhibit. Oh, so the question is how soon can they get in on Friday morning ahead of the College and Career Fair in order to get their booth set up if they're not going to be there on Thursday?
We'll be there starting at 7 a.m. And as I said before, that day is going to be a very busy day. So just bring all the credentials that you need to get into the hall. I know that we're going to have an opening at 9 a.m. And so we are going to try and keep as many people back from going in the hall. Only participants that are sponsors or exhibitors will be allowed in the hall. So bring your credentials to get you in.
I have a quick question. Hi, my name is Kirsten from Salesforce. When it comes to the placing the order online, I noticed that one of the services you offer is cleaning, such as like vacuuming and whatnot. Are we responsible for having our booth vacuumed out and cleaned out, or do we not need to worry about paying for that?
Lori, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, so the cleaning services, move-in can get a little dirty and messy. So some exhibitors will elect to have us clean their booth, vacuum it prior to show opening on that Friday morning. But as far as cleaning after the show ends, we're tearing down all the booths and moving all the carpet and any items that are ordered. So there's nothing additional that you need to do on your end other than pack up your booth. You don't have to do anything special to get it cleaned. Like, we're cleaning that entire hall.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All very good questions. So one more thing that I will add into this whole thing is, since it is a really fast day and you're going to be busy with all the people that are attending your booth and what you're doing in there, please make sure that you designate somebody or have somebody come to us. If you ship something in through us, make sure that you get all of your bills of lading and labels and shipping information taken care of before it gets to be the end of the day and you won't have to stand in line for so long. So the service desk is going to be very, very busy once the show closes. So try and take care of it as early as you can. Any other questions?
There's a question that says, Marcel, can you please confirm if we'll have to individually arrange our items to be shipped out after the fair?
Yes, you will. Each individual booth will need to arrange their material shipping out. We'll give you a bill of lading per destination. So if you're shipping to 3 different places, we'll give you 3 different bills of lading. We ask that you keep all your materials in your booth and make sure it's address labeled. Once you get everything packed up and ready to go, fill in the form that says that you have 3 black cases and 5 cardboard boxes or whatever, so that when your carrier gets to the dock, we'll know what we're looking for when we go to your booth. Leave your materials in your booth, bring the bill of lading up to the service desk. Did that answer that? I think. Lori, do you want to add anything to that?
Just, anything that needs to ship out, don't in your booth without talking to us about it. We need a bill of lading. We get a lot of people that will just leave a FedEx labeled box in their booth and FedEx shows up. And I don't know that FedEx box is there because they've never came and turned in a bill of lading for me. So then it doesn't ship out with FedEx and we ship it out with the show carrier for more money. So if you want to make sure that your booth goes out, with your designated carrier, you have to turn in a bill of lading to the service desk, or I will never know there's freight in your booth until the end of the night when I'm auditing the show floor.
Right. The bill of ladings are really a control document for us. So we know what we're looking for. We know how it's going out. We know where it's going and who the carrier is.
Kelly, I did want to highlight these questions, and I don't know if this would be for AISES or CSS, but for setup, can they set up at 7 before 7 on Friday?
Probably. I mean, if you can get in.
Or before 9 a.m., sorry, on Friday.
Oh yeah, before 9, yeah. We're going to be there starting at 7. And of course, you're going to need to be set up by 9. So that means we want to have all the aisles clear of any materials that you have that are not part of your display. So yeah, we're not going to stop you from coming in, but we are going to stop you at 9 o'clock because that's when we open.
Perfect. And the other one is if other people are coming in to decorate, Kelly, do we usually escort them to the exhibit hall if they don't have a registration pass?
So again, Marcel had shared, like, please bring credentials. And so if you have any credentials that are associated with like your company or that you're supporting the setup, please bring those. Alternately, our team, the development team, specifically Hope, myself, and others that introduced themselves at the beginning of this call, will be at the exhibitor and sponsor check-in registration area, which is immediately outside the exhibit hall floor. And so if you encounter problems, or if you need like an escort, or if you need, you know, because we do have security on site. And so if you encounter any challenges in accessing the career fair hall to set up on Thursday, which you should not, or early Friday morning, which you also should not, we're going to be right there. And so just come to us regarding just access to the exhibit hall floor, or any questions that you have. You'll come and get your badges, preferably on Wednesday or Thursday throughout the day if you are attending the conference in its entirety, or if you're simply coming just for the college and career fair event, and that's going to be right outside the exhibit hall floor as well. And so should you have any challenges accessing the hall, just come to us and somebody will escort you there. But if you have credentials, then the security should not turn you away. Is there any final questions for Marcel or Lori? If not, their contact information is right there. And again, they're fantastic, and they, you know, they're very responsive. And so if you have questions or emails, you can always reach out to them directly.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
All right. I know that I've been there before, but I can't remember. Do you know if there is a FedEx office within the convention center? Because since I have to ship FedEx and I can only depend on FedEx coming to pick up, I usually just take it to the FedEx office, but sometimes they have FedEx offices within the convention center.
I don't believe there is. And there's possibly a FedEx office in the Renaissance, or not sure about what hotel you're at. That could be a possibility too.
Okay, great. I am in the Renaissance and I will check. I think last time I came to Palm Springs, I was not at the Renaissance. So I actually just drove my packages to the FedEx office, and they are open Saturdays and Fridays till 6. So that's another possibility for people who are worried about FedEx coming to pick up on Friday afternoon.
One thing for sure that I will say, even if it doesn't go out FedEx, it will go out by our carrier, and we'll let you know how you can track your package. Okay, so you should have that information in your email or wherever. Usually it's not too many, but this is a big exhibit hall this year, and we're trying to, like I said, try and take care of everything as soon as possible. So so that we know what we're looking for. And we'll help you every step of the way. One thing too is just a little bit of advice. It's always good to know Just when you get to the facility and you go through registration, just be aware of your surroundings. Figure out where everything is, you know, everything from restaurants to FedEx offices. You know, it's always good to have a good idea and a good knowledge of where everything is so you can find it quickly.
Yes, there is parking at the convention center and in the adjacent hotels. The Renaissance is directly connected with the convention center, and there is parking lots adjacent.
And if you're driving in, if you're an exhibitor or sponsor and you have a booth space, there is a POV loading and unloading area there at the AISES Convention Center. So that's available to you as well.
And I don't believe there's discounted parking. If you want to reach out to us directly, I'll on the exhibitor email that we'll share in the back, please reach out with any follow-up questions that you might have or that we couldn't answer on the call today, and we'll get back with you. All right, fantastic. If there's no further questions for Marcel and Lori, we'll go ahead and move forward. And like I said, we will be sending out the video as well as the slide deck. And so you'll be able to reach out directly if you have questions. We'll also make sure that we include the link to the service kit once again, if anyone wants to just refresh on the shipping information or make any final orders for their booths. Great, thank you.
Thank you for letting us share.
Oh, I'm glad you could be here today. We appreciate it. Thank you both. And so we're going to go ahead and transition in, and I do have to share with you my my friend and colleague Lawrence, who serves as the co-chair for the Corporate Advisory Council, was kind of caught off guard with me including him in this particular component of the orientation. But Lawrence is fantastic, and he has an immense amount of experience as a recruiter, as a representative of our Corporate Advisory Council, and as a professional AISES member who's been involved with the organization for quite some time. And so he and I are going to tag team here just a little bit to kind of give you some insight. I'm going to talk through your role as an exhibitor, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some tips and benefits for recruiting with AISES, and then some other just considerations you might want to consider leading up to the conference in terms of recruitment. And so I'll go ahead and just kind of kick it off here. As an exhibitor and sponsor, your role is to really just participate in the activities, and many of you will be attending for the duration of the conference, and we really want to encourage you to take advantage of all of the events and activities that you possibly can. For us, we say this all the time, and I'll reiterate again, to us, relationships are everything. And so we want to welcome you to participating in the conference fully. When you get to see our team in person, we look forward to interacting with you one-on-one and saying hello. We also really highly encourage you to take advantage of meeting our student representatives and our board of directors, and just engaging with our students and our professionals at any opportunity that you can. Please know that unless it's a ticketed or event only event or activity, you are welcome to participate as a full conference attendee. Some of the things that are really unique and special about the AISES conference include our opening ceremony, our sunrise ceremonies, our talking circles, and things like that. And I just want to reassure you that you are all welcome to come and participate in any of those activities, and to join us and to learn. If you're less familiar, if it's your first time at the conference, please feel feel comfortable doing so. And so we will have the opening ceremony at 8:30. It's just the kickoff. It's such a fantastic event with the keynote speaker, our Council of Elders. We'll have our color guard bringing in the flags and so many cool and fun things, including our student representatives doing a shout out to the other attendees from their region. We have over 80 general sessions that we'll be offering throughout the duration of the conference. And so if you want to take a look at the conference.asus.org website, you can click on the agenda and see a full digital agenda. And you can also just click on the link because we do have the program that is going in all of the conference bags. Also there that you can see in PDF forms. So you can take some time now and take a look at all of the sessions and feel a little more comfortable about those that you might want to participate in when you have the time. The networking suite event, like Hope mentioned, is open to all of our partners. Many of you have sponsored different suites for various industry areas or have your own kind of networking suite area. However, please know that these are open to all conference attendees, and then our closing banquet as well. And we just want you to encourage folks that if you have registered and indicated that you're coming to the banquet, we hope we see you there. If you have a change of plans, adjust your registration simply because we will be at capacity this year. We're very excited about that. And we just want to make sure we have enough plates for everybody for the closing banquet. At the College and Career Fair, we know that, that's why many of you are on this call. You're excited and eager to connect with Indigenous talent. And so when you come out, it's your role to just really represent the professional world. Hope had shared earlier that we do have a number of high school students coming, and we're going to continue to see that number grow. And for us, we really encourage you all to take the time to visit with our high school students as well as college students to just tell them what it's like to be a professional in a corporate or federal or academic setting. You really have, this is a really wonderful opportunity to recruit students into the STEM. And I put plus fields because, as I mentioned earlier, we do have lots of students in a wide variety of fields that are very eager to chat with many of you as well. Also, we just really encourage you to take that time to visit with students and identify mentoring opportunities when you encounter students that, might be more curious about work in your field or work at your company. And then we just really encourage you to spend quality time with students. And before we transition to the next slide, I will say I've had the pleasure of participating in lots of other college and career fair events that are hosted by our sister organizations like SWE and NSBE and Grace Hopper, and those conferences and those college and career fairs are just immense, and they're very large, and ours is large, and we have so many wonderful exhibitors, but the volume and the number of students and the traffic that you're going to see is going to be different. And so you're going to have a very unique opportunity to, you may not have a long line of students there to hand their resume. You're going to have groups of students approaching you, and you're really going to have an opportunity to spend a little bit of quality time with students to highlight your organization. And Lawrence, before we go on, is there anything on this particular slide that you have to add?
Yes, you covered it very well. Thank you, Kelly. And just from background, I have been involved with the AISES National Conference for a couple of decades or more. And I've been in the role of developing the exhibit booth for my ARG for my corporation. I also recruit at the major Southwest University in Arizona. And I was there all last week for 2 career fairs on campus. And I gave an info session to the AISES student chapter while I was on campus. One of the things that you'll see here at the AISES conference, which Kelly mentioned is different, is that the students, what I've seen over the years is that the students, AISES students on campus, don't really participate on on-campus career fairs. And then I will have visited like the campus I visited last week. I didn't see a single visitor to the career fair, the 2 days of career fair on campus activities. But I'll go to the AISES conference, I now see up to 15 from that same school that I had just visited. So that's the difference about the AISES conference, is that they see AISES conference as a primary venue for them to secure a job, to maximize your benefits to your corporation, institutions, organizations, federal institutions, and tribes. It's really important to understand the students' community. We are a community, so that's why, as Kelly mentioned, it's very important to attend the conference activities from the beginning as much as you can. It is a very, very competitive environment with the 220 booths that are going to be there for students. So you might be a little bit, it's going to be different, and you might be a little bit shocked on how fast corporations and academia and the federal organizations move, particularly corporations, and how like on the spot offers. So those are things that are very important to understand. And there's been a lot of investment by several of the business organizations to build a relationship. So building the relationships is really, really important. I think the encouraging the students and mentoring opportunities. I see throughout the years, the last 20 years or so, I've seen the students, once they get an opportunity, the encouragement that they receive and the mentoring that they receive, they remain loyal to the organization that kind of gave them their opportunities. So I've seen that happen time and time again. So it's very, very important to understand that. It's important to understand the community, participate, and so that's one of the things I want to comment on this slide.
Thank you. And Lawrence, do you want to kind of kick us off on this particular slide and add to what you were stating?
Sure. I want to say that the one-stop shopping, access to top quality, just potential candidate applicants. This is basically the only, so I do a lot of, I've been on the Corporate Advisory Council for 25 years and then the co-chair or co-chair since 2009. And many times we do the post-conference, kind of like what lessons learned. And the comment that always comes up is this is like the only game in town. This is the conference. Like I said, students that last week when I was at the major Southwest career fair, a large institution that has a very, very large number of American Indian Native students, they see AISES conference as their primary venue. And not only is it just for STEM students, like Kelly said earlier in the earlier slide, there are lots of business folks, business students, medical students, students in other fields. So it's the one-stop shopping for beyond STEM. STEAM, I guess I would say STEAM. So somebody's got some music on.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here from GuitarJams.com, and it's a classic blues riff. Okay.
This is really important to understand, is that it's a one-stop shopping, the only game in town, comments I typically heard over the year, but it's also an opportunity to increase your diversity within your organization. So when I talk to my corporation and try to get support from executives and the recruiters, developing the strategies and how to build a relationship with the students, it's very, very important to understand how to do that. The students are looking for opportunities. They are looking to build trusted relationships with the organizations. Corporate branding is important. It's like what the students are going to be looking for more than just beyond what the job is and location. For example, they're going to want to know, you have a very active ERG for the American Indians, Alaska Natives, Indigenous peoples. They're going to want to know what type of community that the job location is going to be. Is there going to be other tribal citizens, other tribes in the area that they can get involved with the community for STEM workshops and just being involved with the community. So those are kind of things that they're going to be looking for just beyond the job itself. And so the mentoring that we talked about earlier and building a relationship, it's an opportunity to make a difference to the students. It's very important. So a lot of these students are first generation college students. So they're new and they might be a little shy, but the mentoring part is really, really important. So when I was for my role now, I provide more of a strategy for my corporation and recruiting team. For the last 5 to 10 years, I've been having more of that role since I've been doing more of the AISES Corporate Advisory Council co-chair role. But the key difference is that my earlier work in kind of making a difference was when I first came to my corporation, there was not an American Indian or Alaska Native.
Zoom folks, did you hear about the sound problems, Zoom folks? A lot of people were in a Teams meeting, the company folks, and we couldn't hear for the last 5 or 10 minutes. And so now they're, like myself, they gave us a Zoom link, and so now we're joining the Zoom meeting so that we can hear. So just to let you know that there are some folks that'll be popping in the meeting, maybe not fully caught up. Thank you.
Okay, as I was saying about making a difference, the mentoring part, it's very important to be positive with the students, encouragement. Some of them are having very difficult time, sometimes coming from their very rural communities, being first generation and coming to maybe a large school. So it's very important to keep encouragement. And so that's part of it, is if you want to increase diversity within your organization, we all have to help to get these students through get their degrees. And that's through summer jobs and through encouragement and support. And so those are kind of things, how to make a difference is continue that support that the family might be giving them. So that's what really important to understand, is that these students are coming from those type of communities. So some of the lessons learned is the do's and don'ts. Participate in all activities that we talked about. Respect and non-assertive communication. In the indigenous communities, basically oftentimes it's really important that sometimes direct eye contact is considered disrespectful potentially. But it's really important to understand this other part, is that not all the students are the same because they come from different communities. So what I do also in my work is I also do tribal government relations training for my workforce. That's going to interact with tribal governments and work with them. So there's in the United States, there's 574 federally recognized tribes. And so that's a pretty big number. And these are distinct tribal nations that are sovereign equivalent to state governments of the United States government, like the state of Arizona, New Mexico, they're equivalent in sovereignty, at least to that. And so the students are coming from those areas. Also, they come with different languages and different cultural backgrounds. So it's very important to understand that don't assume that all indigenous people are the same nation, that they're coming from the same. So it's very important to understand it. So, but kind of one of the commonalities is the respect for the elders, and so it's really important to kind of be engaging. So don't be standing behind your booth all the time. Try to come out front and try to be engaged with the students. That's very important as far as recognizing the non-assertive. So I've had students in the past where they stood in the back waiting to be asked for a question or be acknowledged while other students push up to the front. And those students oftentimes sometimes may have been like at a 4.0 in computer science or something like that, but it was more cultural. So it's very important to understand those types of different style that you may see from a career fair. Highlight your corporate branding, what your company has to offer. Not just the job itself, as I mentioned, but the community that they're going to be coming to. Or if you have locations in different parts of the US or different parts of the world, emphasize kind of the community, what the students could get involved with, because that's going to be important for them. Students are oftentimes really wanting to be as close to their home as possible for the community. So when I say that, we're located in Albuquerque, New Mexico for us. And I know that we hired PhDs, and some of the PhDs would go home every other weekend, even though the community that they came from was 3 to 4 hours away to help their family. So this is important to understand, is that the community involvement, kind of the responsibility that they may have, is important. So to help communicate that type of understanding where your locations are located and to their communities is kind of important to understand too. work with other exhibitors and learn from the exhibitors if you're new to AISES, what they've learned, lessons learned. And it's all about building long-term relationships for success. So I would say for those of you that are new to the AISES conference and exhibiting, really learn from others. And for those that are new, I would say it's really, really important that you participate as many venues throughout the conference as you can to understand the community and to start building a strategy. Don't come to the conference thinking, if you're not getting what you want from this particular conference and you're brand new to it, really think about what type of strategies you need to employ to be successful. And that's really important to understand. And don't assume that a low GPA is going to be a low GPA just because it's not on the resume. Because of even for myself, I've had a hard time every year doing performance reviews, highlighting like I did this, I did that. Many of the students are similar to that, could be similar to that, so that they don't really tout their high GPA. Some of them may even kind of hide it because they don't want others to know. But don't assume that it's just because it's not on there that it's a low GPA, because I've seen very high GPAs for that after I learned more about the students. And one last slide, don't assume all natives live in the Southwest. In Arizona, for example, Southwest in Arizona, 27% of the land base is tribal lands. And so there's quite a bit, in the Four Corners area, there's quite a bit of large land-based tribes and numbers. So don't make those assumptions. So one big thing that when I do training for my workforce is I say that if you know one tribe, you know one tribe. So just keep that in mind. Don't make those assumptions. So any questions?
Thank you so much, Lawrence. And
I have a question, Kelly, for Lawrence, my old friend.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, what are we seeing possibly as some of the barriers to actually getting more of our students to actually participate in this event? Is it at the university and escaping classes, for example, or what things can these organizations do to help AISES actually get more students to possibly participate and engage?
Good question, Tony. I think being involved in the regional events and doing like the hands-on workshops, stimulating interest in STEM activities, doing outreach to conduct tours for students that are may not know somebody in their family that's a professional in the STEM world or STEAM world. And so it's very important that the students see that they can do it and that they get familiar with the technology, that it's not so far away to achieve. So it's got to look accessible for them. So I think getting involved in the community and providing those hands-on type of technical workshops that your employees could be involved with. So stimulating the interest in actually getting the students to maybe even visit the site. Those are, I think, key to stimulating interest and increasing kind of the participation from the students at an early age.
Thank you for that. I was setting you up.
Yes, and we'll highlight.
It'll be a softball.
Yeah, good one. Thank you both. And I will just say too, there will be, and we'll talk briefly about some of the upcoming events that you can look forward to. So if students aren't, able to participate in conference, and University of Buffalo also pointed out some really good things, is that, the academic rigor and the cost associated with coming to the conference can be challenging for some students. And so please know, and we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a little softball pitch to my colleagues here in just a moment regarding the resume database that's available to our partners as well. And so some students may not be attending the conference, but they may have their resumes uploaded. We also have a chapter directory that you can reach out to chapters directly in your areas if you're looking in specific geographical areas for talent or are interested in sharing opportunities. Our team is really honored by so much support this year. We do have a number of programs that provide travel support to students that are participating in different programs throughout the year. And we were really proud to be able to bring, I believe, around 80 students to the national conference because of sponsorship that many of you provided. And so that includes airfare, hotel accommodations when they're in Palm Springs, their conference registration. And so thank you all for doing that. It again has provided opportunities for 80 students just through travel sponsorships, travel scholarships through this, registering your organization to come to the conference. We're able to bring so many more students that wouldn't have otherwise been able to participate. And so if you do have resources to do that, we encourage you to work with AISES or work directly with a chapter in your area to provide that support. And so I'm going to go ahead and hand this off to, I believe, Candace to kind of transition us into a brief demo of the resume database. And then we will be on track to close out at 3:30 Mountain Time.
Yeah, why don't we start with the Career Hub? Elise, can you do your demonstration, please?
Okay, hi. Okay, so this is the resumes database, and you will be granted credentials to sign into it. I can't see it. It says resumes.asus.org. I'm just going to sign in. It's relatively simple to use. But I suggest once you get signed in, just to come down here and click on View Resume Database Instructions. And that is going to be this information here. And it's super basic. It says use the credentials that you've gotten to sign in. Once you log in, I'll show you this on the screen. You have these options to do filtering on. There's also a button for downloading all of the resumes. And I'll just tell you right now, we're in the middle of downloading or uploading over 1,400 new resumes. And these are going to be our student scholars, our scholarship winners, and the national conference registrants that have included resumes. So we are trying to get it done by today, but they say it's been slow going. So we will have all that certainly the week before the national conference. You'll be able to access every resume that we have uploaded here. And this is a very cool thing. I will show you this in a little bit, but let's go back here, take a look at all the filters that we can use. Say, for instance, we do want to know who's attending the conference because you want to know which people that you can reach out to beforehand, maybe via email. As you can see, they've got their email and phone numbers there. And say I want somebody who's going to the conference from Colorado and they are seniors. So I'm going to apply that filter. And now I have access to all the resumes of seniors from Colorado. All right, I'm going to show you now. I already pushed this button and I don't want, it's a lot, so I don't want to spend your time watching me download that again. But I have it here. Here's the cool thing about it. So these are all the resumes from, say, an hour ago. And you have this resume link here, and you can just copy it and go to a page, paste it in. And what's going to happen is you're going to download the resume, and then you're able, of course, to read the resume. A good choice for a resume to view. But I think it's really awesome that you can look at all these resumes. You can search here also, of course, using Excel's sorting capabilities, where you could search, are they sophomores? Are they freshmen? Are they undergraduates? These are all of the degrees. I know there was a question asking, how do we know what degrees they are? And again, this information will be available once we get all the registrants uploaded into the database. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Okay, now I'll talk a little bit about Winds of Change, which is the communications channel of AISES. There are many advertising opportunities that you can use within Winds of Change to reach the AISES audience throughout the entire year. This includes the magazine, which is in print and digital versions, our twice monthly newsletter, which is called Paths to Opportunities, and online through our websites. The available options can be found in our media kit, which is linked. Can you click on that for me, Alicia? It's linked right there at the bottom. Next shows all of the opportunities. If that opens up. It has our demographics and it has all the opportunities that are available through Winds of Change. And it is there on that PowerPoint presentation. So, and then above that in the, on the issue itself there, and you can see it there. Thank you, Alicia. And then you can see the various, it talks about the various issues. It talks about the newsletters, the website, and the publication. So you can close that, Alicia, that's fine, thank you. And then we also have our previous issues that you can see, and you don't need to click on this, Alicia. It's in that Winds of Change. If you clicked on that cover, it takes you to a link that shows you all the previous issues of Winds of Change as well. So you can take a look through various issues. Please note that the fall issue of Winds of Change will be in all the attendee bags at the AISES National Conference. Okay, next slide, please. So we have some save the dates here, and the first one is the Native Lynx Golf Classic, and I'm going to just let Shayna jump in here for 1 second to talk about that.
Thanks, Candace. Yes, we are super excited to be hosting the 5th annual Native Lynx Golf Classic. It'll be taking place on Monday, October 10th, which is also Indigenous Peoples Day. So we do have limited space remaining. If you're interested in sponsoring a hole, coming and joining us as an individual player, or sponsoring a team. We'll be out at the Rio Seco Golf Club in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we are going to be kicking off the Global Gaming Expo week there. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate reaching out to any of us. And it's also on our website at nativelynx.aces.
Thanks, Shayna.
You're welcome. Thank you, Candace.
And then we are also, please save the date for AISES in Canada's National Gathering. It's taking place March 3rd through the 5th next year in Vancouver, British Columbia. We will also be having the call for sessions coming out very soon for that event. So keep an eye open for that as well. And then coming up at the end of the year, you'll see some dates that will start to come out for our AISES 2023 regional conferences and for the Leadership Summit. Those events occur in the spring. Next slide, please. And then next, for next year, we want you to already start thinking about the 2023 conference, which will be in Spokane, Washington, October 19th to the 21st. And you can see the future ones after that. We expect to have the 2023 partnership guide available by December with further details included. Registration for Spokane Exhibitor sponsors will be open in January. We'd like to encourage you to please register as soon as possible, as early as possible. We sold out early this year in the summer, so please do register as soon as you can. And there's the future dates for future conferences in 2024 and 2025. And thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you this year in Palm Springs. And there's, I'll pass this off to who, Kelly? I'm sorry, I don't know who's next.
Hope's going to close us out.
Perfect. So just some reminders, please. I know that you all have been so great at registering your staff. And so if you have any outstanding people or any changes to be made, you can still make those changes, even though it's past the deadline I gave you. So reach out to me if you need help. I have been getting lots of emails and calls. So if I don't respond right away, I just know I will get to it. We do have AISES Safe Camp and Code of Conduct, and this is just to make sure that we are keeping the morale of the conference acceptable. And sorry, I'm like, Kelly's like, have a little spiel so I don't read it word for word, and then now I'm forgetting. But that is also just to keep the safety of all of our attendees, and to remind you of rules of like no drinking and just a safe camp code of conduct. The networking game during the college and career fair, we are going to be having, and if you've been at our career fair before, it's going to be the same as the last year's, but we are going to hand out tickets to each booth, each sponsor and exhibitor, and you can hand those tickets out to students who you feel have engaged with you really well, who have talked, asked questions, and so we really encourage our students to do that and get these tickets. So then they are put into a drawing for some prizes. So we really just don't want our students walking around and looking and not engaging. So that's what that game will encourage. For support at for your booth support, you can always email exhibitors@aises.org or myself. And if you don't have my email, I can always drop it in the chat. But volunteer opportunities, we are still looking for volunteers. And this is that there's a link here. And if you go onto our conference website, it's also there. It's also under volunteering. And we still need or would like volunteers for the resume room and research judges. And I know some of you all have signed up, but just wanting to point that out again. And our mobile app, Elise, who you heard from, and our IT team has done a great job of downloading all of our sponsors, exhibitors on the mobile app. I think I did see in the chat that your booth numbers are on there. And this year it is sponsored by Amazon. So thank you for that. And for any assistance or questions with the exhibitor services and that exhibitor service kit, here is the email esr@cssabq.com or their phone number there. And like we had mentioned, Lori and Marcel are the experts, but I can always help you get in contact with them or answer any questions that I might know. But thank you again all for coming. And I am here. The rest of the team is here for any help or any additional help or questions you might have after this.
Thank you so much, Hope. And do you feel comfortable talking a little bit more about the Wi-Fi capacity in the exhibit hall?
Yes, I can. So there is, and I did chat with a few people directly, but there is going to be general Wi-Fi, and Elise jump in if I'm saying anything incorrectly, but there's general Wi-Fi for the whole convention center, although it will not allow the bandwidth. It doesn't allow for streaming, videos, social media, anything like that. So we do encourage, if you are going to have any extras, any extra cool things at your booth, or wanting to be sharing social media or anything like that, to purchase the higher bandwidth Wi-Fi. And I can send you that information if you haven't received it already. It should be for sponsors. It will be for all sponsors in your sponsor benefits document. And for exhibitors, it was in the original email with your registration codes. But again, reach out if you would like to purchase that Wi-Fi. And we are accepting Wi-Fi purchases until October 4th, until right before the conference. So that, because you do need special credentials to log into it and everything.
Mm-hmm. And the slightly higher bandwidth Wi-Fi that you're mentioning regarding the purchase is at $150?
That one is $150, and there is one, I want to say, for $350, and that is for higher, but more things.
For all the business.
Yes.
Kelly and Hope, I have a question. Are you communicating that to any presenters? Is it going to be an issue for presenters in case they have video and as part of their presentations and things of that nature?
I don't know if it's been communicated to presenters. We do really encourage on Friday, because we know a lot of students, a lot of professionals are on their phones using the Wi-Fi during the college and career fair, and we have limited sessions on Friday for that reason. We want everyone on the floor. But Elise, do you know if presenters or certain rooms are getting higher bandwidth Wi-Fi?
I do not know the answer to the question right now.
Yeah, I would doubt that. That's why I said you might want to communicate with your presenters just so they have that awareness that they may not be able to run a video. So they're not surprised once they try to run a video during an actual presentation and it doesn't work.
Thanks, Tony, for sure.
Hey, Hope, this is Heather. I know at previous conferences, I was a presenter and I didn't purchase, and it did stream videos as a presenter on those other days because there's not as much bandwidth being used in for the conference rooms that the presentations were in.
Thank you for that, Heather. Yes, and I will definitely just connect because I'm curious for my own reasons. So thanks, Tony and Heather.
Good morning, family. It's Fernita Daly from the National Security Agency. I just have a question. It's not about the presentation at the conference, but STEM Day. Do we need to purchase additional data if we're streaming stuff on STEM Day?
Shayna, do you happen to know the answer to this?
No, I don't.
Fernita, this is Kelly, and yeah, we haven't had correspondence directly for the presentation simply because we have another department that takes the lead on that, but we can get the answer for you just regarding STEM Day and then reach out directly. We'll just connect with Catherine, who's our director of all things events. So we'll get back to you.
All right, appreciate you guys. Hear from you soon.
We'll see you soon.
And I did see in the chat, Elise said presenter laptops will already be preloaded with sufficient bandwidth Wi-Fi.
Wonderful. I think we've done a fair job of getting to all of the questions that have been presented in the chat, but we can answer any other additional questions. We've got 5 more minutes. And then, like we said earlier, we'll be recording this and we'll zip it up and send it back out to you probably by tomorrow.
Hi, this is Jennifer Elliott from Delta Dental. Thank you so much to the team. This has just been tremendous information. Sorry if I missed this earlier and it was addressed, but in addition to the video or recording, could you send the PowerPoint? Because I think a few slides, especially the do's and don'ts, would be a nice packet to give to some of our booth staff that aren't here today.
Yes, we will. And then it does have the exhibitor service kit. So if you didn't catch that in the chat, and our floor plan and some other nice links. So yeah, I can send it out.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Any other lingering questions?
Great. Well, thank you all so much for your time with us today. And more importantly, just for your partnership with AISES. We sincerely appreciate you being a part of the conference, investing your time and resources into coming out to the conference. And our team is committed to helping ensure that you have a very wonderful, valuable conference experience. And so if any questions arise over the next couple of weeks, do not hesitate, reach out to us. When you arrive in Palm Springs, you will see some or all of us at the check-in table. Please do try to get all of your team registered ahead of time because there may be lines. And if you're pre-registered, it just takes a moment to grab your program and your badge and any other items from the conference registration location. And also just again, please approach us with any questions or concerns that you might have along the way. We look forward to seeing you. We're excited to be over 2,000 people registered at this point. And as I shared in the chat, we track very closely registration trends and in comparison reports from, years 7, 8, 9 years back. And so we're still anticipating a significant number of students in particular getting registered for the conference this year. And so we're really excited to see you. And with that, I'll just close us out.
Thank you all.
Thank you all so much. Hope if you would just leave the chat open for just a few more minutes in case people have those, but I'm going to go ahead and mute and go off camera, but I'll stay on for just a couple more minutes.